I had seen a dawn like this one only twice in my life. Once in Vietnam, after a bouncing Betty had risen from the earth on a night trail and twisted its tentacles of light around my thighs, and years earlier outside of Franklin, Louisiana, when my father and I discovered the body of a labor organizer who had been crucified with 16-penny nails, ankle and wrist, against a barn wall. Just before the sun broke above the Gulf's rim, the wind, which had blown the waves with ropes of foam all night, suddenly died, and the sky became as white and brightly grained as polished bone, as though all color had been bled out of the air, and the gulls that had swooped and glided over my wake lifted into the haze, and the swells flattened into an undulating sheet of liquid tin, dimpled by the leathery backs of stingrays. The eastern horizon was strung with rain clouds, and the sun should have risen out of the water like a mist-shrouded egg yolk, but it didn't. Its red light mushroomed along the horizon, then rose into the sky in a cross, burning in the center, as though fire were trying to take the shape of a man, and the water turned the heavy dark color of blood. Maybe the strange light at dawn was only coincidence, and had nothing to do with the return to New Iberia of Megan Flynn, who, like a sin we'd concealed in the confessional, vexed our conscience, or worse, rekindled our envy. But I knew in my heart it wasn't coincidence, no more so than the fact that the man crucified against the barn wall was Megan's father, and that Megan herself was waiting for me at my dock and bait shop 15 miles south of New Iberia, when Cleet Purcell, my old homicide partner from the 1st District of New Orleans, and I cut the engines on my cabin cruiser and floated through the hyacinths on our wake, the mud billowing in clouds that were as bright as yellow paint under the stern. It was sprinkling now, and she wore an orange silk shirt and khaki slacks and sandals, her funny straw hat spotted with rain, her hair dark red against the gloom of the day, her face glowing with a smile that was like a thorn in the heart. Cleet stood by the gunwale and looked at her, and puckered his mouth. "Wow," he said under his breath. She was one of those rare women gifted with eyes that could linger briefly on yours and make you feel, rightly or wrongly, you were genuinely invited into the mystery of her life. "I've seen her somewhere," Cleet said, as he prepared to climb out on the bow. "Last week's Newsweek magazine," I said. "That's it. She won a Pulitzer Prize or something. There was a picture of her hanging out of a slick," he said. His gum snapped in his jaw. She'd been on the cover, wearing camouflage pants and a t-shirt with dog tags around her neck, the downdraft of the British helicopter whipping her hair and flattening her clothes against her body, the strap of her camera laced around one wrist, while below, Serbian armor burned in columns of red and black smoke. But I remembered another Megan, too, the in-your-face orphan of years ago, who with her brother would run away from foster homes in Louisiana and Colorado until they were old enough to finally disappear into that wandering army of fruit pickers and wheat harvesters whom their father, an unrepentant IWW radical, had spent a lifetime trying to organize. I stepped off the bow onto the dock and walked toward my truck to back the trailer down the ramp. I didn't mean to be impolite. I admired the Flynns, but you paid a price for their friendship and proximity to the vessel of social anger their lives had become. "Not glad to see me, Streak?" she said. "Always glad. How you doing, Megan?"